Hey folks, Brian Shorter, the Walleye Guys. And this week's insider tip is a little bit of preseason preparation, all right? So, river's open. I'm hitting it tomorrow. There's a lot of guys already on some of the water. It's not fully open, but it will be here within the next week or two. So, wintertime is a great time, really the only time to spend to go over all your gear, your rods, your reels, your tackle, sharpen hooks, replace hooks, all that kind of stuff. So, as you can see, I just took off a handful of reels, off a bunch of rods, and I go through them, make sure they're oiled, lubed up, line's good, replace line if need be, and check the rod. So I'm going to show you just a few things that I like to do here in the off season. January through March is a great time to get after this stuff if you're like me and there are many of us others that live in the upper Midwest where we're not on the open water. It's ice fishing season. So but as those two transitions, a great time to get this stuff all done. So stay put. I'm going to show you just a couple little tips that I like to do here in the off season to make sure my gear is ready to go come first time I'm on that open water. All right, so one of the first things you're going to want to do is take your spools off, right? Take the spool off, depending on what kind of reel you run. Most of these here are flugers, right? It's just unscrew it from the top. Take the reel off, check over the grip, make sure everything is tight and it's got lube where it needs to be. Now this one appears to be very clean and very good shape, so I probably don't need to break it completely down. And what you're going to do is spin this until you get the spool rod all the way up, and then put a little lube on it. If you got a bunch of dark oil and grease on there, go ahead and wipe it off and just put some nice new clean stuff on it. This one was pretty clean to go already. Make sure you get the bottom half above and below it. You want it all the way up so you can get that whole shaft and just work it up and down. It's good to go. So this reel is really in great shape. Normally I take off the housing here and check where the reel seat sits in there, and that's got really clean lube in there, so it's good to go. So I don't need to do a whole lot to this one. Check it over, make sure there's no nicks or scratches on the arbor that can mess up your line. The reel line seat's good. This thing is apparently pretty new and is in good shape. So let's tear into another one that's in a little worse shape that needs a little more attention. But this one's good to go. That's really it. So we tore into this one a little bit more. It's a much older reel. Needs a little bit more care. So the most important thing you got to do in tearing these suckers apart, remember how they came apart. If you have the instructions with them still, keep them. I'm sure you can Google this and online and figure out how to put it back together. I like to take it apart and lay it down kind of in the order you took it off so you know how to put it back together. This one, everything's really greasy, very black, so it's dirty. I'm going to take out the reel bearings, and then the gears, and just give this all a really good rub down with a Q-tip. Okay, get in there, get in the tough spots. Just take standard Q-tip, dig it around, get it all cleaned out. Grab your reel lube, put it on the gears, okay, and on the spool shaft, and then get in there with some reel oil, all right, and then the other spots, and make sure you got some good oil on it as well. So this one's got a lot of oil on it, that's why it's very black, versus the other one that's clean. Sure, either take a picture of it as you take it apart with your phone, or just pay very close attention, Google, and look at the schematics and how this thing's put back together. So you can get some very, very small pieces, all right, and you got to get them all right back to where they were, or it won't work, and you'll know it when you hook it up. Really, all you need to do this is one of these little tiny screwdrivers, pliers or needle nose or something. There's going to be one screw that or nut that holds on the spool once you pull the other screw off, and that's it. Wipe it down, get it clean, oil it, put it back together, check everything over for nicks and stuff like that. If you have any little nicks anywhere on that arbor or whatever, it's going to cut your line. It's usually not much of a problem on the reel as much as that is on your rod. So most important thing, pay attention to how you took it apart, put it back together the exact same way. Lube, oil, wipe down, get rid of the old stuff. Listen when you crank it to make sure you're not hearing any grinding noises. You can get sand, dirt, or you don't have something set in there properly. So that's about it for reels. Now when it comes to rods, what I like to do is the Q-tip once again. This is a very handy and very inexpensive tool. Run your Q-tip up to your eyelets. As you can see, the Q-tip is clean. No frays on it. Stick it in there, rub it around. If there's a nick in these eyelets, it's going to grab that cotton. Okay? and you're going to know that there's a nick in your eyelet. We're good. These are all good. No cotton on there whatsoever. All right, so go through every one of them, check those. If these have any type of nick, if you have a glass eyelet or whatever kind it is, and that if you have either a super line, a fire line, a braided line, I mean, it's going to snap it, it's going to cut it like that. Your mono and your florals will last a little bit longer, but you'll notice the abrasion, or once you get it, once a good bite or even a snag or something like that, depending on the heavy lure you're using, it's going to cut it. And if you're wondering why you keep casting your lures or ripping off, it's because you have an eyelet that needs replaced. Sometimes you can get the inserts, otherwise you just need to replace the whole eyelet, or just get a new rod, right? Okay, they're pretty important part of it. So Q-tip, eyelets, check them over, look for the cotton, make sure it's all good. You're all good. Get your clean, lubed, and oiled reel back on this rod, fresh line if you need it, and go fishing. All right, guys, we'll leave with one more tip. Line counter reels, all right? You got to take good care of these things, really put them through a lot of wear and tear, letting a lot of line out. If you got lead core, you got heavy line, you need big gears. So this puts a lot of stress on these things. So when you store them up for the winter, pull the drags all the way back and keep them loose. So it just reduces some of that tension that while it sits there for several months not being used. Loosen that drag up. Go over these really good. Clean out any little nook and crannies there. Get a Q-tip in there and oil them up, all right? Get some oil in these things. Spin it around. Getting ready to go for this year. So take a little time this winter. Do a little preparation getting ready for this open water season, because proper planning prevents poor performance. Be ready. Be sharp. Spend more time fishing, less time thinking. See you on the water.